So again, thank you everyone. I appreciate you spending the time with us this afternoon or morning, wherever you may be. And again, what we're really talking about, of course, is transitioning from PlanGrid to Autodesk Build. So moving on here. So again, we'll talk about some introductions, a little bit about IMAGINiT, talk a little bit about where PlanGrid is today, and then really leveraging the Autodesk Construction Cloud, which is Autodesk Build, and some things about migrating between the two. So again, a little background on myself here. I'm one of our engagement engineers here at IMAGINiT. Been with the company a little bit over 21 years now, and I basically work with our sales team and work with our clients to present and talk about the different solutions that we offer, make sure that they're the right fit, and plan out how to implement these tools effectively within your organizations. And again, IMAGINiT Technologies is a part of RAND Worldwide, although we probably make up about 75% of the company. And again, we're very purposeful and highly selective with the partner alliances. Obviously, Autodesk is the top of our list, but we also partner with other companies such as Leica and Bluebeam and other divisions within our organization as well. And again, we're all about creating solutions that fit your environment, your specific needs. And we really have a huge amount of technical resources with expertise in all of these products that we have here. And we're always looking to learn new tools, bring new tools into the environment, and expand the services and technologies that we can offer to our clients. And again, we have the most experience in one place, period. You know, just on our building solutions team alone, we have 35 plus people specializing in BIM, facilities management, and construction, right? And then we have the other industries that we also serve, manufacturing, infrastructure, utilities, civil, all of those things. So again, what I first want to talk about is PlanGrid. And I am using very purposely past tense with PlanGrid. So it was used in over 1 million projects around the world. PlanGrid was one of the first construction productivity platforms that allowed contractors and owners in commercial, civil, and other industries to work and collaborate anywhere, right? It was all cloud-based. And they had some key features in the tool. You know, they had sheet management for a construction project, managing tasks or issues even is what that really is, just action items. RFIs, field reports, checklists, submittal, you know, things like that, which is what a field report is, a daily report, a punch list, those and so on. Submittal management, general document management, and management of photos. And those are the things, and that's all that PlanGrid did, right? And it did those things very well. It was fairly effective with that. But it was still missing a lot of key functionality for a construction project. But it did manage a lot of it, which was good. And it was very good at that. And it still is good at that. But it's missing a lot of functionality and limitations. For instance, you look at the document area of PlanGrid, you can download and share the files, but it was very difficult to view them, especially if it was an AutoCAD or Rev or a model, right? Again, it was not BIM enabled. You couldn't use the BIM technology. No models in the field, no commissioning module, no scheduling, email management, or meeting tools, difficult and limited permission control. And there was some, but not really a lot of integrations with any third-party applications there, and no cost management. And really here, PlanGrid was, I don't know if I kind of use the word retired, but it was 5 years ago, right? It's not being developed anymore. It's still in maybe maintenance mode is really the best way to put that, meaning it will still be available for a few more years. You'll still be able to, and you'll be able to continue any projects you have in it. It still will be fully functional and so and all that, and it will be maintained, and Autodesk will make sure that it works, bugs will be fixed. But it's not the solution moving forward. It's in that kind of maintenance mode, finish what you're doing there, and then move to build, right? That's really the plan. I mean, we look at Autodesk Build, it really is PlanGrid 2.0. So again, now we look at the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And before I even get into that, you know, let me jump into a little bit of PlanGrid here too, right? So let me get into my thing. So here's the standard PlanGrid interface. These are your projects. It's pretty straightforward, right? And you can go into one of your projects here. Now we're in our project. We have kind of a heads up page of, maybe things that I need to pay attention to, ongoing work, unassigned tasks. I have all the sheets that I need to share with my team here, right? So that's pretty straightforward. Then we have tasks here, which are really just action items, things that you would assign to people. It could be a problem that has to be resolved because of a punch list issue and so on. RFI management tools where you can push RFIs through a review process and finalize a question, provide the answers, distribute the answer, distribute that. We have, field reports, which are exactly what I mentioned before. They could be a daily report, a punch list, or even a timesheet if you wanted to do something like that, or safety reports, those types of things. And it has document management where it stores the documents, right? But if you put something like an AutoCAD file here, which you can absolutely put AutoCAD and Revit files here to share with others, you can't view the file, right? Can't view that. I can download or export it though, but I cannot view the file here, right? It's a holding area. Same with Revit. Can't do anything with them, but you can share them with others. Now, if you go over here, I have some other file types. If I look at a PDF, okay, a PDF you can at least view. And that will view the PDF as it is, so that's okay. So it's good at viewing PDFs. But any other file type, like a Word file, I can open it, but if you notice here, this is not really how this file really looks. It lets you read the text in a very simple way in a Word, and maybe Excel, I'm not sure about Excel. And it's a previewing, right? But you have to download it to really view it properly, and you can't edit it or anything like that, right? So, and then we have photo management. That's pretty straightforward. It manages any photos that you either upload or attach to things in your project, so that's pretty good. A submittal management tool to manage the submittal process and upload a submittal and put it through a review process and so on, right? And then, of course, the team that's invited into your project, and there are some settings and management things that you can do, which are a little more complicated here than they would be in Build, but still usable. But one thing I like to point out here, too, with the users, and I look at managing a user, the permissions are very limited. I mean, I only have these kind of two roles here, or three. I can either be an admin, which lets me do anything. I can be a collaborator who lets me see everything in the project, but not maybe control anything. And a power collaborator gets to do a little bit more and can initiate RFIs and things like that. But there's not a lot of granularity here. I can't hide, like in documents, it's kind of like everyone has access to everything in there. They may not be able to download or upload, but they can view, right, and probably download. So there's just not a lot of finite control here, and I think that's one of my issues with PlanGrid is that it didn't give me a lot of control. Like it was like kind of a floodgate, all or nothing, or all or partial. There was no in between or granularity there. There was some, but it was still a little tricky. But it was effective. It got the job done, and it was good in its day. Then again, as mentioned 5 years ago, Autodesk introduced Autodesk Build, and that's where we are today, right? So Autodesk Build was released a little bit more than 5 years ago, and it's part of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And again, the Autodesk Construction Cloud is not a product. It's a term that Autodesk uses for all their cloud-enabled applications, right? So we have BIM, BIM Collaborate Pro, that's the authoring side of this environment. Or let's even start with Autodesk Docs down the bottom here. That is the document management platform. Anyone who has an Autodesk AEC collection or one of those collections gets Autodesk Docs for free. It's included. And in its own right, it is a light project management solution at its foundation with document management aspects at a project level. Incredibly powerful tool, and it's included by itself. Then on top of that, if you need to edit and host your design files in the cloud, you move up to BIM Collaborate Pro, which allows you to host your Revit files, even AutoCAD files up in that environment, edit them, work from anywhere, work from the office, the job site, wherever you are, you can open and edit these files and view any type of document you want to see. You don't have to know anything about, you don't have to own Word or Excel or any of those things. You can view all those file types. Then there's other tools, Assemble for breaking a model up for better quantification, Autodesk Takeoff for actually doing the quantification and takeoff. And then you could bring it into ProS, or just use ProS for cost estimation and bidding, getting the cost of the building so you can bid on it. Then there's other tools, Building Connected, for bid management and also qualifying your subcontractor and managing your RFPs and so on, or RFQs there. And then we get into Autodesk Build for managing your construction project, right? And there's other tools like AutoSpecs or Pipe, or it's built into the software now, built into the same platform. It's another product for doing, again, submittal management, or basically going through your specs, breaking them up to create your submittal log. Very powerful tool. And then Autodesk Tandem, of course, would be for basically the digital twin side of things, and starting to get into the FM side of the equation in facilities management. But again, the product we're talking about, of course, is Autodesk Build today. So its key capabilities: document management as its foundation, right? Document control, versioning, document approvals if necessary. When you get into Build, you also have a full cost management tool for budget creation, contract administration, change orders, payment applications, forecasting, right? It's not a replacement for your general ledger, but it is a very, very powerful tool and highly customizable to work based on how you work. Then, of course, there's all the project management tools that are within Autodesk Build, all the sheet management, issue management, which is really action items or task management. Photos, RFIs, submittals, email management, meeting minutes, specifications management, daily reports and checklists and safety reports and punch lists and all those things, schedule tools, and even a task scheduling, a sub-tasks tool where you can build your own internal workflows in there. There's quality control, quality planning, punch lists, all of that, safety management via the checklist tools and tasks and planning and meetings and inspections. And then project closeout, which includes commissioning tools and turnover documentation and as-built survey or as-built exports from the project. Very easy to gather the data at project end for handover to your client. Or then taking some of that data and moving that into a facilities management program of your choice, right? So let's take a look at Autodesk Build now. So we'll jump over to that, and now we'll jump over to Autodesk Build. So the first thing here is we have that home page, right? These are all my projects that I have been invited into. And I could search by the company that it belongs to, or just use, whatever search code I have for my company. Here are all my projects that I can just search for, and then select the project I want to go into. But before I go into the project, what I'd like to show here is this homepage option. So this homepage option is pretty important. First of all, it shows you all the projects that I'm participating in, wherever they are geographically, and that number just means there's 11 projects in that region, right? But this is what's important right here, and let me expand this little card that we see over here, okay? So these are all the critical items across all the 30 or 50 projects that I've been invited to that I personally am responsible for. So I have 193 overdue issues, 9 overdue RFIs that I need to do something with, 45 submittals across many different projects, 2 document reviews, and I have 8 meeting minutes across several projects that I am responsible for, right? And they're overdue, see? Overdue. Due in the past 7 days, due after 7 days, things that just don't have a due date. Now, if you click on any of these bars, it actually takes you then to the filtered list of all of the issues, in this case, that are assigned to me, tasks, action items that I need to take. They're overdue. It shows me the most overdue items first, the status, the title, the project that it's coming from, the account that it's in. It's assigned, of course, to me. And of course, I could switch that to see where's the least overdue. This one's only a few months, December, right? And I can go into any one of these here as well. And I can select one of these, like this issue, and click on that, and it will take me all the way to the project and directly to the issue. And right here is a safety issue. The fire extinguisher was not mounted, and it was assigned to me, and it's a safety infraction, and it was due. It was supposed to be finished by August 22nd. of last year. What's going on? Oh, it's on the A1 sheet. Well, let's take a look at that. And it takes me to the A1 sheet and where the infraction was from that home page. And there it is. That's where the missing fire extinguisher is right there. And there's the photo. It wasn't mounted on the wall. That's what the issue was. The fire extinguisher's there, not mounted on the wall. In a few seconds, my attention was drawn to that one. I might be managing 30 projects, right? In a second, I was able to go directly to that project and directly to the photo, the information, the due date, the sheet, exactly where that was in 60 seconds. That alone is worth the price of admission, in my opinion there. So that's that first part, right? We have that, hey, these are those things, hey, anything I need to really pay attention to right now, nothing's overdue, great. I'll just go back here and I need to go to one of my projects. Maybe I'm only working on one, maybe I'm working on several, right? So I do a search and I can click into my project. Now I'm in my project. Right here, I have my heads-up display of the project, the address. Here's the weather on the job site today. Here's some recent activity by different people on the project. And then I have things such as work status right here. Or I also have a quick timeline, milestones for my project right here. So this is not the scheduling tool. This is just some reminders of, hey, yeah, we've achieved all these milestones so far. The last one is project complete. That's going to be finished in August 29th of 2025. So that's the last milestone we're approaching right there. So it's just a heads up. Easy to manage there. But this is the important part of this page, work status. Here's all the work that's assigned to me on this project. So I personally on this project have 62 overdue issues, 6 overdue RFIs, and so on, right? I have 73 issues that are assigned to me, 62 of which are overdue, right? Submittals, forms that I'm working on that aren't done yet. I have 2 meeting minute items that are open, but they're not overdue yet. And then we just have general stuff. Because I am a manager of this project, I get to see this general things, and I know that this project has overall 211 overdue issues, right? And so on, and overdue RFIs. And if I click on any one of these, boom, it takes me to the issues. And I don't like this issue word here because they're really not issues. These are really action items. They could be tasks, they could be questions, they could be a problem, they could be a safety infraction, they could be a quality control issue, all of the above. So the issues is really a powerful tool. And the best, a client of mine called it this once, and I've been forever grateful for that term, these are action items. Action items they have to take on the project. Are they overdue? Who they're assigned to? I can filter them instantly between whatever I want to see. Hey, I want to see things that are of a status of just the open items, like so. I just want to see things that are assigned to a person. I want to see things that are assigned to an electrical contractor, or I want to see things that are assigned to a specific company, like MEP installers here. And then these are all the open issues, but what I really care about is just open issues that are what? Overdue. Here they all are. So right now, there are 5 overdue issues assigned to this company, right? Very powerful, easy to get to these filtered things. I could export this out right now as a report and view it, save it in a folder, and so on, right? But back to the top here. So we have the home page, right? So that's your heads up, anything I need to pay attention to right now. Let's move on. Let's go into files, which is equivalent to the documents inside of PlanGrid. So now I have every document that I need to have access to in this project, and this is highly controllable. If I have another person, like my MEP engineer logs into this project right now. So he comes over here, and I can log in as my alter ego as the MEP engineer, and I'll go into the project. And I'll log in as that alter ego here. And when he looks at that same files area, he's going to see a very different thing, right? Because when he comes here, he's going to find that he only actually has access to 3 folders. That's it. That's all that he sees, right? On this folder right here. Just those 3. That's it. He has the 6, the shared packages, and MEP team for design work. And that's it. And then under the cut sheets, he has that data and so on. Whereas when we look at that entire project here, this is really everything. He only had access to number 6 here in some of the design models. And that's it. Because I was very and I was able to go in and be very careful about what people see. You know, if I look at down here, one of my specification folder here, as opposed to the specification tool, which we also have, right? And I have all these subfolders here, and I right-click here as a manager, and I go to permissions, and I have incredibly granular control over who can do what here. So if I get down here to, these are all administrators, so of course we have, you know, any access we want there. But if I hit add, I can now say, hey, I want to give that MEP company. So I'm going to say, if you work for MEP installers here, I'm going to let you do what to this folder and all the subfolders. Just view the files, view and download, view, download, and add markups, upload files, or full edit rights. What permission? I just want people to see things, but not download them. So it's still actually kind of secure, where it's only in the cloud here. They can see these files, but they cannot download them. And I could just, of course, add that permission like so. And now I've expanded that. See, this says company-based permission, view rights only. And then it lists how many people are part of that company, and it's just John Jones. He's the only one on this project that's part of that company. So easy. I mean, it's so seamless and so simple to come in at any time and revoke, add permissions. You can templatize this, so when you start your project, your folder structure is there, the permissions are established. I can set up a project, at least the core of the project, in minutes, and then I have to still set things up that are unique to the project, but 70% of my project can be set up in seconds. All right, so let's move on. So again, with the files here, as I mentioned also, this is a universal viewer. I don't have to own any of these applications. Hey, someone put an AutoCAD file here. There's 3 versions of the file here. I have access to any version of the file. And not only do I have access, I can just view the file. It'll open up the latest document here. I can see that file. I can go to any version of the file. Now I'm in version 1. I can view it. Not current, but it's there. So I didn't need to know anything about AutoCAD, yet I have full access to all the layers. I can turn things on or off. I could isolate to just the doors, right? I can pick just the doors here, just the doors visible. Then I'll go down here and, hey, I want to turn the interior walls on and the architectural exterior walls there. Boom. So now I just have the walls and doors on, and that's it, right? And if I leave the file or I right-click and show all the objects, everything comes back on, which again just gives you a lot of power here to be able to go in and just view things that, hey, I don't have AutoCAD, but I can view the file here. I could get down to anything. I could go to a format file, upload the format file, and look at that. So this is basically Autodesk version of SketchUp, right? I have something either simple here, or I can go into one of the more complex files like this one. And now I have access to that model and all the data that's in the format project, right? Or I get down here, MicroStation. Last time I touched MicroStation was in the mid-90s, right? But I can put the MicroStation file here and open it and have access to the layers of what they call levels, and all that data is here. Again, Navisworks file. I've never used Navisworks, but I can go into a consolidated model here and have full access to it and get the properties on the objects, take sections, whatever I need to do. And obviously I can go to PDFs, right? And I can go to my PDF document here, and I can open up the PDF file. And with AutoCAD PDF and Revit, I can do things like this, where I would like to compare the documents against each other. And I hit compare. And now I can see red is the new stuff here and blue is the old stuff. And I can see where all the changes were in this model. And then I can come in here and I can use the side-by-side option, and I can see this is the before and the after, and I can see the differences here. So I can do this both in AutoCAD and PDF files and sheets that we have here. I can see the new and the old document. So I don't have to ask any questions. How many emails does this stop, right? How many phone calls has this eliminated, just being able to instantly see the differences between documents in seconds, right? Plant 3D, Revit. I can put a Revit file up here and I could view the design documents, or maybe this is a model that I want. And all of this that we're looking at, I can pull this up on my tablet app and see all of this. The models, the sections, the data, the comparison tool can all be done right on my tablet, right? Especially on the sheet side. So now I have access to the Revit model and I can section that. and get information on any of the information in the model right here and pick something here and select, this freezer unit there and go to properties, and all the data is available to me, right? And if this was one of the live models, I can put issues here. And these issues, this issue about something, maybe I had a question about this door here, right? And I even marked it up so you can actually, you get these thumbnails that you can view, and you can mark the thumbnails up, which is what I did here. Hey, I need to move this door. And this issue right here, this marker, is visible in Revit. If this is the live Revit model, I could make an issue here, and it communicates that to the Revit user while they're in Revit, and they can see that issue, the issue added, right? So very easy to communicate with people. And also here, again, I have access to all the versions I want of this model, right? And again, I can go into the comparison mode and compare the model. We'll go right here, make sure I'm in the 3D model, there we go. And compare the model against each other and do the comparison. And it does the same thing. It shows you the things that were removed, that were modified, that were added, right? So it's very easy to filter by just added elements. I could go in and see removed elements, and I could also go in and see changed elements. So if I pick the wall there, this is where the wall is or was, and it was moved from here to there, and so on, right? So I have, where was this door used to be over here, now it's over there, right? That's the change. So I have visibility to both 2D, 3D changes when I'm in the Revit model. Obviously, I have access to also the sheets. So I go to 2D sheets, and here are all the sheets, and I go to the sheet. And I have that same ability to do the comparison at the 2D level, right? So again, I want to compare it to the older version, and I want to compare the A1 against the A1 sheet and run the comparison. And it just does it in 2D. And it does that same thing here. It will show you quantify the elements and so on there. All of that will show up there, of course, as well. So again, that's just the document side of things. So to me, the next logical place I go are the sheets. This is the construction documents. This is the things you're viewing out in the field. They're organized, again, hey, I want my structural first, then architecture, then mechanical, electrical, plumbing, whatever order you want. That's built into the system. You feed a PDF in here, it automatically reads the sheet number. It automatically reads the sheet name off of the PDF and organizes it based on the sheet number. Hey, letter A, that's architectural, S is structure. You can build your own tags in. I can filter by distribution of this, right? When if I go to filter here, I could say, hey, show me right here the version set. Show me the first issuance of this set, April 1st, and I search. And there it all is. So this is everything that was issued on April 1st. Then there was an addendum, revision 1 came out. More sheets were added. Now we're looking at revision 2. Then I could look at revision 3, the latest one right there, and search that. Now I'm in revision 3. Now, no matter how many revisions are, when you filter this, it will open whatever revision that document is part of right here. Now, this is part of revision 2, but not current. And I can see, oh, well, there's actually another issue. It's a bid package that was issued here. Okay, so I need to go to that. That's the latest document. Okay, now I'm in the latest document. And I can do the same comparison I showed you. I won't show you that again. And these, of course, I do this for a lot of demos. These are all my issue markers right on the plan here. I had an issue mark here. That's a PL punch list. Let's see what that is. Okay, it's a punch list item. It's in progress. Why is the drinking fountain not installed there? What's going on? There was supposed to be a drinking fountain there. Or I look over here, there's another punch list item. And the exhaust fan is not working. Here's the exhaust fan in the restroom. I did that as a punch list item right there. Okay, so I was on the job site, pulled my tablet up, pulled the drawing up, saw the marked that was doing a punch list, the fan wasn't working, took a photo of it right there with my phone, created the punch list item, and assigned it to someone. So right at that point, I was able to take this and assign it to someone. And I could create custom fields and put this in a punch list package or something like that, a root cause, quality, manufacturing defect, right? These are all things that I created for this. I can create different types of punch list packages. This is the electrical punch list package. It was due on the date, so on. So these are tasks, problems, questions, very important part of this technology. I might have multiple buildings on the site, right? Here's building number 2. It's an outbuilding that has its own A1 sheet. So if I have doing condos, and each condo is 36, there's 20 buildings, and each building has 3 units, whatever, right? I can break that up that way too. Specification management tool, which is basically a specification reader. You can upload a spec here, view it, go to a certain section and see that section. This makes it easy to get to the very specific sections I want. I basically uploaded my spec in here. It was CSI, told the system that, it broke it up into all the sections, and it's basically a reader for specifications here. So let's kind of move on down the line, right? So look at forms. So this is equivalent to the daily reports inside of PlanGrid. It actually looks very similar, and this is one of the few things. The sheets and maybe the photos a little bit and the forms came initially and was basically modeled after how it was done in PlanGrid, but it's exceeded that at this point in time. But if you've used those in PlanGrid, this would probably be already familiar. So right here, these are all the different types of forms that I have in my project. So I have daily report forms here. These are the different types. I have a detailed or a simple one here. I have punch list forms here. I have quality control forms here. I have safety forms and even timesheets if you want to do that. And then I can go to any one of these forms, and this right here, when I pick that, this will show me all the quality control forms, and then I can say, can we filter this by the finishes right here? Okay, this is the finished one. So these are all the ones. This one's in progress. These are closed forms. Or would I like to create a brand new form off of, from this? I need a new finish carpentry form, or a HVAC form right here. And I create the form. So I'm creating a new one. Do I want to create a new one? Yes. Okay. What location in the building is it going to be in? Is there a due date for the form? Am I going to assign this form to someone to get done? And then I can go to the sections and start answering the question out in the field on my tablet. Yes, yes. Now right here, verify approved vibration isolators and flexible connectors are finished and installed as required. Oh, they're missing. Nope. Oh, the second I say that it's no, it says, oh, well, then you'll have to create an issue or I will not let you submit this form. So I can't submit the form until I come in here and actually either assign it to an existing issue or create a new issue to go with it, right at that point of failure. Again, yes, yes, this is all fine, so on, good. I could also build it in so I have to sign the form. I can add additional notes here. I could submit the form and then it would go, depending on how the form is set up, some just get approved, some go to a reviewer to review the form. So if I submit this form, it just gets submitted. Because I am the reviewer, I get an email notification. I have to review a form. I go in and see everything's answered satisfactorily. Great. My job as a reviewer is to sign and submit on the form here and submit it. Form is closed. Done. Now, what I also like about this, I have that conditional logic, and that's really the best way to use this. But, maybe I have a safety form that I need to fill out, and it has to look a certain way, right? And that's fine. So I have a safety form here that's based on a PDF. So I imported a smart PDF that had forms. I can create a form here. Here's today's weather. That was important. Location assigned to, due date, so on there. And here's the form here. Sometimes it takes a second there to load that. And then once I go into the form, I can actually fill it out based on how I design that form inside of Acrobat, right? So I can come in and I can set it so the project number fills in automatically or manually put it in there. Put today's date in, and put my company, and put the name of the project on the form. Let me zoom out a little bit, and I can just click on these because these are designed to be checkboxes. Now, we don't have the auto issue creation if you go into an issue, but you can still add an issue to this manually right down here. You add references, and here's another superpower of Build. I can connect everything to everything else. So I can connect this form to a photo, an issue, a file package, another form, an asset, a schedule item, a sheet, a submittal. All these things can be connected to this particular form, right? And vice versa, right? And then again, I could submit this and I could type in comments. And because this is a PDF form, I actually have the ability to go, oh, we don't need this section right here. Right, so I want to, pick a color I want. Maybe I'll use red. And then I can use, that piece there to basically X off something. Hey, we're not going to use this anymore, right? Oh, I'm sure I changed my color again. I'll make it red for this one. And we don't use this either. And I could put text or just go NA, whatever you want to do there. We don't use that section. So I could add a photo here or whatever I want, right? Really powerful tool. So now I have a list. I can very easily come in here as a manager and show me all the forms that are due, and I could say that are due today, or all forms that are overdue, if any, and apply those filters. And here are all my overdue forms. Some of them are closed, so I should probably add a filter to that. Only show me the forms that the status is in review, right? Just those ones. So these are ones up. None need to be reviewed. That's great, right? So I can go in there and say, just show me the ones that are in progress. Okay, good. No in progress forms are overdue. We're good, right? There's different ways you can search. So again, powerful. Photos. This is every single photo we've ever taken on this project. Connected. Some of them are connected to issues, RFIs, forms, whatever. There's that fire extinguisher I showed earlier here, right there, right? And if I pick any one of these photos here, like this one, I can see references and I can see what's referencing it. Oh, this particular photo is actually connected to these 5 forms, these 3 issues, and these markups on a sheet. So this is the source. All of these things are connected to this singular photo right here. Another really powerful thing about this is every time you put a photo into this environment, you can add your own tags, but the system is literally looking at all of these photos and analyzing them and automatically tagging them. So if I go in here and say, show me all the fireproof steel structure, I did not do this. The software looked at these photos here and saw right there that there was fireproofing on these steel beams. It recognized that, right? Now I have some others in there that I manually added to show that I could do that. Or if it made a mistake, said, hey, this is fireproof. No, it's not. I can say that's not what that is, and I'll turn that off and basically correct it. And I taught the AI that it was wrong about this, right? But look at this photo. It saw baseboard finish. It saw a door, electrical switches, finishes, openings, a wall. I did not tell the software to do that. It analyzed the photo by itself using real AI and it tagged it. So a very powerful tool here. Let's look at RFIs. So RFIs here are exactly that. Your request for information, you create your review processes here as an administrator, you create RFI types, you create different workflows, you can view the workflow here, manager creates it. Or someone submits a draft to the manager, they send it to the reviewer reviews, provides the answer, the manager approves the answer, and then closes it, right? That's the workflow. You could have another step in there if you want to. You define who those people are. Who's the default reviewers? Who's the default manager? Here's my permission. All the settings and the different roles people play. And again, I can look at it. Here's a ceiling VAV that is in review, right? Here's a question, is this correct? It's a very simple one. I could submit a response right here. I could upload documents that are part of the support. Is this an answer or am I rejecting this? Right? What's going on there, right? So right now it's in the review stage. It would go to the close and distribute stage last. The manager would then decide what to do. Here's the question, here's the answer, here's the full activity log. That's the thing here too with Build. Your fingerprints are on everything in here. You do something, it's tracked. You know who's doing what, when, what's late, all of those things. I can filter here. Well, show me all the things that are in a certain person's ball in court. Who needs to do this, right? So I can see all the things that are assigned to me personally that are waiting for me to perform an action on them. So these are all my things in review. This one is answered. So now it's my job to close and distribute this. Here's the answer. I could provide official documents that are part of this right here. Here's the suggested answer. Here's the actual answer. All of that stuff is in here, right? Photos that might be part of this, other references that are part of this RFI are all here. And I'll collect it in this one place. And I could print out reports from these and so on. Submittals almost works the same way, right? You have your submittal login here. You have all your spec sections right here. You can group things into packages or not. This is an optional item here. And then these are things that have been assigned. These are required. So that's, I've assigned this to a contractor. We're waiting for the contractor to do that. So these are all things that are either closed submittals, open submittals, in review. This one's been submitted by the plumbing contractor. So it's right now, it's in my job as the manager to submit this for review. Now I have a standard review workflow, or I could pick, oh, this is an MEP workflow, a structural review, and this might have 6 steps, this might have 2, this might have 1 in different people, right? And here are the steps. So review step number 1, both Joe Eichenseer and Melissa Gonzalez have to review that as step 1. Step 2 goes to Sam Smith, it's only a single person, right? So these are the 3 people who are involved with the review. They'll provide that answer. I can submit this for review, which then notifies those people. They provide the answer, they mark up the documents, they put stamps on them, they mark them up, whatever they want to do, right? And then they would send that back to me. So this one's in review. So right here, if I review this during the review process here, any of the files that were submitted, let me just try to find one here that actually has data in it. I don't look at my own here. So I look through these here, and this one is submitted. So someone's submitting a toilet picture for review. So there's the document. I can just open the document now as the reviewer and review the file. Hey, I need to add a cover page to this. Sure, cover page just got added. All right, I need to mark this up. Let's go ahead and mark it up. All right, looks pretty good. I'm done. Let's go ahead and create a stamp, This is going to be approved as noted. There it is. Any other information in here? Nope. Color, create the stamp, and now I can stamp the file. You can upload an image of a stamp that you have too. Done, and I could save this as part of this, submit it for review. So all the reviewing tools are built into the system. You don't need to export them out. You do it here. You submit it, you include certain documents as part of the final review, and it's all in here, right? Moving on, meetings. This is all the meetings we have on our project. I have I have site work preparation meetings. There were several different meetings that happen around this. First meeting started on April 21st, and August 31st, and then March, February. Here's the agenda. If I start here and look at that, these are things that were discussed. This was closed. This was assigned to Joe Eichenseer. That was the due date. Information about the start of the concrete work, ongoing, open, ongoing, close, meeting summary. Let's go to meeting number 2. Here's meeting number 2. Things that were open keep carrying forward until they're completed. You can assign a meeting minute to a person, a due date, put references on it. Here are all the people who made it to the meeting. Right? And all that, print out an agenda, print out a minute, print out any of that. Mark this as agenda. Come in here, just go to the latest meeting that hasn't happened yet. And there's the last meeting there. It's integrated with Zoom and Teams, so you can automatically create a web link and everything in there, and so on. So it's very easy for me to jump to any meeting right here, so I can add a link. Let's add a Microsoft Teams meeting to this. There it is. That gets sent to everyone. That link will be included there, and there's the Teams meeting. These are all the things we're going to talk about. But to me, the most important part of meetings here is the item list. As a manager, I can go in here and say, well, show me all my items that are open. Show me all my items that are overdue. So I could have 100 meetings, and now I instantly know, oh, but these 6 items are overdue and open out of the 100 meetings I had, and this will take me directly to that meeting discussion item and what's going on. Again, correspondence. I can stop using Outlook entirely if you choose to do that and use this entirely, right? You can manage all your email communications in here. You can create email. You can categorize it into your own categories, cost related, general correspondence, potential RFIs, right? And then put a subject, send it to anyone in the project or any email address, non-members, members alike. They don't have to have a license of Build to communicate through this tool, right? And then you could put content, upload files, send things. It provides a project email address right here. It auto-generates an uneditable, this is a project email address. You can copy it, put it into your Outlook, and then save it as the name of the project. So whenever I want to send an email to the project, I could work entirely in Outlook, but copy all my emails to the project so that they get tracked here. And the emails that are in here, Here's a cost impact item. I set it's an ongoing status of this email conversation. It had a due date, add some references, connect it to an issue, connect it to a cost budget item, payment application, owner change order. Again, all of that can be managed here. Schedule. So this is a two-part tool. First, I can have schedules that you don't edit here. So this is not an editing schedule tool. This is a schedule reader. It basically works with Power Project, Microsoft Project, and Primavera. You upload your project, your project schedule. Now everyone can see it. You share it with who you want to see the schedule. So this is where you go for your schedule, right? And you can do a search on HVAC, right? There we go, HVAC items, rooftop equipment, right here. Here's the information about the task rooftop equipment. It's 3 days, predecessor, successor there, other things that are connected to it, comments about this. I can connect the schedule item to 2 different sheets. Assets, air handling units 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 4 are connected to this task, right? So I can click on that, goes right to the asset. Also, in this case, I connected this task to a plan. So in Build, I created a schedule natively here for the actual construction or installation. So that from the schedule had 5 days to do this. Okay, over those 5 days, this is what we're going to do. So right here, we're going to prep the air handling units for lifting onto the roof. Then we're going to coordinate with this other company, Diggins and Rose installers and crane lifts are going to help get that into place, right? Then we're going to actually install the equipment. It's work, it's in progress, start and finish date. It's assigned to John Jones. There's 4 people in the crew and so on. This is the next task, finalize connections. The next task, make sure everything works. Final task, inspected on Monday. So I built this plan in Build that is connected to the schedule. Right, huge ability here to do that, the really detailed work planning, which is what this is kind of basically called. Let's move on quickly to assets. This is the commissioning module, or really anything that you want to do an installation process on, right? That you want to track installation. So I can get down here to HVAC equipment. Then let's break that down to air handling units, and here they are. Those are those air handling units. Here's the status of this one. It's in functional performance test. This one's a startup. This one's an acceptance. This is pre-startup. References. Oh, this air handling unit is connected to these 4 forms that have to be filled out. There is the scheduling activity, and it's also visible on sheets M1, M3, and M4, all connected to that. And again, if I look at other things like this VAB box, if I want, I can source the objects from the model. So right here, this VAB box was actually derived from the model. And if I click on that, it actually takes me to the design model and exactly where the VAB box is. And there it is. There is that exact VAB box that we're installing. I know exactly where that is. So very powerful tool for that commissioning process. Build your own custom fields and checklists and things into that. So those are basically all the major features in Build here. We have reports, right? These are all the reports that I can create. I can have a report of the issue detail. I can create automatic reports here for punch list that will basically, right here, running punch list report, right? So this gets report in, it was last updated January 22nd. And I could take this, hey, you know what I want this to actually happen is I want it to be scheduled. So I want this report to schedule, and I want it to run every Wednesday at 8 a.m., right? And I want to send the report to people in or outside the project. I can just pick anyone in this list or even send it to people outside the project. And I could save the schedule, and that report just gets generated once a week. Hey, I want to send all my overdue issues, RFI submittal items to the MEP company every Monday. Hey, here are all your overdue items, and here's a list of all things due this week. So preemptive strike. So very powerful reporting mechanisms here. Assets, the forms, issues, RFIs, schedule suggestions, edits to the schedule, submittal changes or detail or statuses. All of these things are managed that way. And on top of this, I have the cost management engine, which I'm not an expert on cost, but again, you put in your budget, your cost, your change order management, your forecasting is all part of this environment and managed here and can be integrated through third-party integrations to accounting systems, right? You know, this alone, I'd have to spend an hour just going over the cost management tool because it's that powerful and has that many options. And even Insight here. Insight is your analysis page, right? So different people have different rights here. I'm able to go in and see analysis here. I have my own dashboard. I have dashboards I can share with the team. Design risk factors, project issues, RFI risk factors, safety risks, design issue trend, project control categories, RFIs and submittal statuses. There are ways to use Power BI to customize these cards, and there will be some new tools eventually coming where you'll be able to create your own cards natively in the system. Quality control right here, safety risk factors and so on here. You can incorporate, you know, maybe you use a Matterport and use job site cameras. You can put a link right here, so now I can get right into my Matterport. Again, not an Autodesk product, but they allow you to build those into the dashboard and provide links. And I can walk around the job site, right? Because it's a really powerful tool that we like to use as a construction company, let's say, and so on. But also, as a manager of this project here, I have access to the, you know, what we call the, let me go to account and make sure I actually have access, but we have the overall administration, the executive view there, which I just have to turn that on for myself here. I must have tested something. I was doing some things there, so I'll just go that real quickly. Go to my name, and again, this is a good example of how I can instantly access someone and control, you know, what they can do. I just want to turn on this executive overview access on right there and there. So what I can do now is I can come in here, and now I can actually see reporting across all of my projects as a CEO of the company or the overall manager of the company. I can come in here now and I can connect this to Power BI too and do all types of custom programming here too. But right here, this is all the projects my company has across the country. Here are some cost reports that I might want to care about across all of my projects, and summaries and are they on budget and so on. Design issues across all of my projects, quality issues across all of my projects, safety issues, or create my own company dashboards right here that I want to share with the team, so it's the same for everyone. So again, lots of powerful tools here. So as a last thing that I just want to talk about here, let's make sure there we go. Yep. Is just a little bit about transition here, okay? So there really isn't a way to transition seamlessly. You can't transfer projects, right? So they're two islands unto themselves. So the workflow is if you have stuff in PlanGrid and it's really established, just finish it there. New projects should be in Build. Now, when the PlanGrid project is done, and I have a lot of clients doing this, they'll download all the data. They'll create a placeholder project of the same name in Build, and you know, they'll download everything from PlanGrid and store it in that project for future archival use. The one thing, though, that you can seamlessly transfer between PlanGrid and Build is if you have built a lot of checklists and reports and those forms I showed you, those are quite easily, you can just connect to any project you have access to and transfer them directly into any other project. So the blank forms, the templates are directly transferable. So at least that's one thing there. So that's really it. I mean, this really isn't an easy way to do it. It is basically a manual process. And this is the best advice that we can really give people here around that part of it. So with that, I still have a few minutes here for any questions.